Each species has its ideal diet, and we are exactly the same. We are animals above all else, above all constructions and all these artificial things that we can add to our life. We will always be an animal. And within the fact that we are animals, we need food. And our bodies are designed to consume a specific food like any other animal. You see, we watch The Lion King and we forget one of the most basic lessons, the circle of life, which is the fact that herbivores feed off plants, carnivores feed off herbivores, and fungi feed off carnivores. Then the fungi deposit nutrients in the soil for the plant to consume together with photosynthesis for a new cycle. This is the circle of life. It's a basic lesson that anybody should understand. And by understanding it, you understand that you are not supposed to eat fungi. Fungi are supposed to eat you. You are not supposed to eat plants. Leave that job to herbivores. So which type of herbivores are there to figure out if we are any type of herbivores? Herbivores like cows and horses, we have a ruminant as an example, and we have an hindgut fermenter. So one ferments in the foregut, the cow, another ferments in the hindgut, the horse, and plenty of other animals consume mostly greens. These are actual plants, not plant products and not plant seeds. Grasses are very common foods for cows and horses. Some people give hay, which is dried grasses or dried stems, to things like horses or even cows, but it's not an ideal food because the sun has dried up the water-soluble nutrients. Then we have things like rabbits, for example, which naturally, and even these sort of rats that go inside of the dirt, they naturally consume plant roots, plant tubers as well. These are part of the plant itself, just like here. And then we have birds. Birds typically consume seeds, which are within fruits, which is the product of plants and not a plant. And birds actually sometimes eat fruits and berries. And then we have the carnivores. There's two types of carnivores. One that consumes the vast majority of its meat of its diet from meat, but will consume eggs if he finds it. This is the example of felines and canines, and the example of bears, which we are extremely similar in terms of internal digestive system. And then we have another type of carnivore that, besides consuming this, also occasionally, seasonally, might eat fruits and even rob the honey if they find it. And this includes also the bears and humans. Bears consume fruits and honey only seasonally so they can fatten up for hibernation. Humans naturally find fruits to be appealing because they are sweet, and honey as well. And just like bears, humans are okay with the idea of being stuck because honey is so freaking good in terms of taste. Humans cannot naturally consume fruits unless seasonally because that's when they come around. Fruits naturally come around after summer. Whenever the days start slowing down, slight becoming shorter after the summer solstice, fruits start coming up gradually. Berries, the same. Honey is abundant, and thus humans search for them. And this allows them to fatten up for winter possibility of scarcity. But now we live in such a society with organized cattle, which is fenced. We don't have predators that might come eat our cattle, so we can sleep relaxed because no lion is gonna attack us within our sleep. And the same way, we can be totally relaxed that there will be plenty food for winter. Thus, we can and should consume whenever we feel like some fruits and some honey, as long as they're Roundup spray free, meaning there is absolutely no glyphosate in them, which totally creates fertility problems, meaning you get some organic options, you can consume them. But please understand, this is for pleasure, and if you consume it in large amounts, it's actually naturally made to fatten you up. So enjoy it, but please understand its purpose as a pleasure and fattening food. Some people are getting also fat because they are eating what humans started giving to cows, which is fruit seeds. Seeds like grains, like legumes, are now being fed to cows, are now being fed to pigs, to poultry, and not only it's not ideal for them, but for humans, for bears, is definitely completely out of the question. And if humans use it to fatten up an ox within a year, what will take possibly a couple of years or more, we can't expect anything else than for us to fatten up. And don't even forget that grains are filled with also this Roundup spray, which creates infertility, out of also many other problems, including gut permeability, which creates all these antibodies against even the most slightly healthy foods. That's why we need to understand our place in the circle of life. We are meant to eat herbivores. Even apex carnivores might even consume actually carnivores, which might even be a more filtered type of flesh. But as we know, it's not so. You have to be a damn good alpha to be able to do that. That's why humans and felines, for example, typically just go for herbivores because they are easier to tame and to slaughter very easily. Carnivores jump on the back of an ox, for example, like a lion, and then whenever they get the chance, they bite on the jugular, and under a couple of minutes, the herbivore will be down. They had a couple of minutes of rest, both the lion and the ox, for example, but then the suffering ends. And then the carnivore can start to eat. It's brutal, but it's nature. Just like a hurricane, just like a volcano, it's a natural occurrence that in which many die almost instinctively, but it's a natural course of life, and we cannot start to just say that it's wrong or claiming any sort of these labels, because nature is the way it is, instinctively, naturally. And even if you build all this cement all over, nature will always jump in. Herbs will start to sprout within the cement. Nature always overcomes artificiality. You might want to cook your food, but nature will always come up and show you symptoms that you're not ideally healthy. You may choose to eat what you're not supposed to eat, and nature will do the same, will show you that it has built a program, a certain amount of places for each individual to be, and if you accept your place in the circle, you will not only be healthy, but consequently happy, just like a herbivore in its place, it's happy. Today, we are feeding off animal suffering by creating them in horrendous conditions. Death has nothing to do with suffering. Death, if sudden as it can be, it's the blink of an eye. If you don't wake up tomorrow, you didn't even suffer. So we need to start comprehending that even though our place in the circle of life is this one, we don't have to be creating suffering upon herbivores. we can minimize that as much as possible, just like felines naturally tend to do, just like bears or canines, like wolves, naturally do. They just go there, they bite the jugular or the equivalent, and the end of that life within that body occurs. You're now consuming flesh, you're now consuming a body. The energy, the personality that was filling that body is no longer there. Where did it go? Maybe to a heaven, maybe to another body. Who knows? It's irrelevant. But what we know visually by observing the evidence is that it is no longer there. If you learned or valued anything, found any sort of value in this video, please leave a like. If you want to leave any sort of comment of opinion, please open the comments and write whatever you feel like. And if you want to check more videos like this around body, nutrition, etc., or around family, conception, attractiveness, astrology, any sort of relationship between people and creating your nuclei, or even around home, design, architecture, house planning, check out my channel and hit that subscribe button, because even though there are plenty videos there, there will be plenty more to come. Thanks.